territory. The management entails looking after the plant material, the trees, the quality of the apple, and also the whole licensing process for Pink Lady, which happens on a yearly basis. So that means that everybody that works with Pink Lady needs to have a license. The exporter that exports out of South Africa needs a license. The importer in the import country needs a license. And then we also look after the marketing, which means that for the entire season of the Pink Lady apple, we do marketing activity campaign in South Africa. We've been doing the marketing in South Africa for a long time, for a number of years. We've recently moved into Africa, certain African countries, and that's what I want to tell you more about today. So just to a definition of the African territory, which is South Africa, excluding Algeria, Egypt, Morocco, Tunisia, and Libya, and the Indian Ocean islands of Mauritius, Reunion, Madagascar, Mayotte, Seychelles, and Comores. That's the countries that we manage. So in South Africa, first of all, we do the marketing and have been doing, as I said, for a number of years. South Africa, obviously, as most of you know, is a mature market. It's a retail market, and Pink Lady is sold as a premium apple. The target market is the high LSM groups. It's affluent women that want the finer things in life and also the finest tasting fresh produce, and that's why she likes Pink Lady apple. So the audience that we have, they're on food websites, they're on social media looking at recipes and things like that. And if we take a snapshot of South Africa, just quickly, obviously we do in-store tastings. This is what it looks like for South Africa. We have traditional media that we advertise in print media, television, obviously digital media, internet, social media is very big, so we focus on those. But going back to Africa, that's a different story. We recently started going into Africa, starting with the management process and the marketing for Pink Lady in Africa, but it's completely different. We had to change our thinking, we had to think locally, and we had to adapt to what's going on in Africa. In South Africa, it's a mature retail market. 100% of the apples are sold in supermarkets, but in African countries, 90% to 100% of the apples is sold in informal markets on the street by street hawkers, so it's completely different. And where in South Africa the target market is the high LSM consumer, the upmarket consumer, in Africa it's the growing middle class that's buying the apple, and they're buying it on the side of the road. So you can imagine how you have to change your thinking and your way of doing marketing, because it's not prettily packed in a bag in a supermarket shelf, it's on the side of the road, so it's a completely different ball game. And we started by only using the branded packaging for Pink Lady in African countries. We said to our exporters, please use the Pink Lady carton, use the PLU sticker on the apple, so that people in Africa can start to know the apple. And we used the knowledge of our exporters because they had connections with importers already in that country, so we used that knowledge. We had to get to know the market. It's still a process. We're still doing that. It's not an easy market to get to know. And we started visiting the importers. We look at their facilities, we look at their cold stores to try and make the best decision of who's the importer that we want to license for Pink Lady in that country. And what we realized very quickly going into these African countries is that quality is very important. Our exporters said to us a couple of years ago, Pink Lady won't work in Africa. African consumers, they don't mind, they don't want good quality, they just want an apple they can eat, but that is not true. We've realized because the apples and the fruit is sold on the side of the road, the ladies buying the fruit, they need to have a good quality fruit because they can't store it, they don't have cold room facilities. So they buy a carton or two a day and they need to sell it that day, they can't keep it. So they recognize, today they recognize Pink Lady as a premium, as a quality premium apple, and they know when it's in the carton and it's got the PLU sticker on, it's good quality, and they buy it because they need to have good quality. So if we look at the informal trade in Africa, this is what it looks like. Completely different. You'll see on the right there is a fruit store in Nigeria. In the middle is the high reach market in Kenya. On top is a hawker selling her goods, completely different. 90%, 100% of sales on the side of the road. Just to give you some information on the African consumer, the growing middle class. This was a study done by Unilever in 2017. There's not a lot of information about the growing middle class in Africa, but they did a very extensive study. So we can see they earn more than $4 per day, but less than 70. It's quite a big gap that. They have some disposable income to spend. The middle class is diversifying. 21% have a side job and 22% have an extra job. They call it the hustle in Africa. They'll do everything to make more money, to support their families, and to get on in life. So 77% of them have smartphones, and 83% of them access the internet on that smartphone. In Kenya, for instance, there's a mobile banking app called M-Pesa, and they use this banking app to make payments for their fruit, for pink lady apples. So when they go to the market and they buy, they would use M-Pesa on their phone, pay for their goods, show the reseller that they've paid, and take the goods or pay for it cash. And as I said, informal markets is the way to go. And the people in Africa, they're quite proud of the fact that they buy from the lady on the side of the road because it's their people. They don't really want to buy from a supermarket because they know it's a lady they know, it's a lady they trust. And some core expectations from brands across the market that Unilever picked up are similar. I'm just going to talk about the first three. Good quality. We all know you don't have a brand if you don't have good quality. Very, very important. Somebody in Nairobi says, for me, it's very important to have a brand that delivers on quality. You know it will last a long time. Somebody in Tanzania, affordability. It's a market that's very sensitive for pricing, affordability. I think price is such an important aspect for brands. I don't like poor quality, but I don't want things to be overpriced. I want to be able to afford. And then lastly, in Nigeria, brand heritage. So it's things that we know that's important for us in South Africa, and it's very important for the African consumer. Popular, well-known, variety, accessibility, and availability. It must be available. So there's more than 100 million African middle-class people with a total spending power of $400 million per day. That's huge. That's where we want to be in the future. And this photograph that you're looking at is in Senegal. It's in Sandoniri Road. Everything for Pink Lady happens in Sandoniri Road. All the importers have offices in Sandoniri Road. People, end consumers come there, they buy there, resellers buy there. Some of the importers have storefronts where they sell fruit from. So everything happens there. So just quickly about the rollout of Pink Lady in the African territory. In the first couple of years, we used the branded packaging and the PLU label to get people to recognize the brand. In 2016, we started sending promotional items into some of the markets. In 2017, we started with the management and we licensed East Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, and Rwanda. In 2018, we licensed West Africa, Senegal, Ghana, and Cameroon, also sent promotional items to those markets. And then this year, we're adding Nigeria to West Africa. We're licensing Nigeria as well. So this year, it will mean that almost 90% of all the Pink Lady apples sold in Africa is managed and licensed from this year. So if we look at the map, on the dark pink areas, obviously South Africa at the bottom. You can see East Africa there, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, and Rwanda. West Africa, Nigeria, Senegal, Ghana, and Cameroon. The light pink areas is where there's overflow of Pink Lady going into those countries. And then the dark gray areas is where Pink Lady is sold, but we're not doing any management at this stage. And then the other areas, no Pink Lady sold at this time. So obviously, the importers are faced with lots of challenges, the licensed importers in Africa. It's not easy. The biggest challenge is that there's a shortage of supply and a shortage of quality supply of apples because they can't always pay the price that our exporters make in the UK or in Europe, so they don't always get the apples. When they do get it, it sells immediately. There's no Pink Lady apple that stays on the market. Over-regulation that leads to complex systems to conduct business in, unnecessary double inspections of imported fruit, corruption. We send promotional items to one importer, we send him 400 bags, he got 100. Taxation, there's taxation on the fresh produce, there's import duties on the promotional items. Access to finance is difficult for them. And then also the infrastructures in those countries, the roads, the traffic is very bad, electricity supply, they need to have generators sometimes to cope, to keep their cold rooms going. And obviously cold room facilities is also a challenge. And talking about cold room facilities, we learned in Africa that it doesn't always have to be white, sometimes it's black. But it's not the norm, it's the exception to the rule. Sometimes it does look like that. And this is actually part of a network of 25 cold rooms in Senegal that two importers have, and they share and they pool their resources and they share these cold rooms to keep costs down. But taking all of these challenges into consideration, Pink Lady in Africa is is seeing tremendous growth. We see that if we have a quality Pink Lady apple, that they can get up to 20% premium on that apple compared to other apples. They recognize Pink Lady as a premium product, which is great, which is what we want, and they treat it as such. I want to show you just this video, just to show you, if I can get it going. Can't get it going now. Maybe we can try at the end to show. I just wanted to show you how they pack the apples in the bag. Do you want to try now, Anna? I think it's because it's the double. Yeah.
Gerald, could you switch? I'm always trying. I don't know how she does it.
Yeah.
No, please not. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Just stay here, then I just want to show that quickly. Yeah.
Should I make sure?
There's it. Yeah. Oh, but it's not showing on the screen.
It's not showing on the screen. Yeah.
Okay, you have to make it full
push it
screen.
again.
You
but
just
here
have
you
to
cannot
click
switch.
on it.
Didn't load packing his apples. He's putting it in water, he's cleaning it. He's putting it in a bag very carefully. He's lining the color up that you can see all the color on one side. So you can see, for him it's a premium apple and he's treating it as a premium apple. And it looks beautiful. Okay, just a little bit of information about African countries. This is just another photograph of Nigeria, a fruit stall on the side of the road. I wanted to talk about Rwanda because Rwanda is quite special for me. We have a ban on Rwanda at the moment. We can't send any fruit to Rwanda, but I just wanted to talk about it because we have one importer licensed in Rwanda, and they've got a very unique way, I think, of doing business. The informal market is in a building. At the bottom, you can see the building there. It's quite a large building. And this lady here is called Amina. She's one of the sellers in the market. But the importer has got refrigerated containers on his premises. So he sells the apples to all the resellers on a weekly basis. But he keeps the apples in the cold room, in the refrigerated containers. And then he delivers the apples to them on a daily basis so that she has only, you can see the 4 cartons stacked behind her, she's got only the cartons there that she can sell for the day. If she's got any left over, he'll come collect it and he'll take it back. So he ensures that the cold chain is kept and that there's no claims coming back to him because fruit is not sold and it's getting bad. So he's got that extra service for them, that he keeps it cold, he delivers it on a daily basis, and he will even say to Amina, I don't think you can sell 5 cartons today, let's just take 3, and he'll take it back. So really a great service to them and enabling them to sell a quality product. This is Uganda. Uganda also has an outside market that's undercover, but it's an open market. Everything is sold there, and to the left is a little shop that one of the importers has on his premises. So he even sells to resellers and to end consumers at his premises. I just want to talk about Kenya lastly. Kenya is our biggest market for Pink Lady in Africa. We sell the biggest volumes in Kenya. You can see there's street market, the High Reach market there again. And on your right at the bottom is a supermarket called Zucchini, a very upmarket supermarket. One of the importers has the small chain. So it's really quite different in Kenya because 90%, I would say, of the fruit is sold on the street market and 10% is supermarkets. And it's really very high-end supermarkets. Once again, the High Reach market, 90% of sales, as I said, are done on these markets. And you can see they park the trucks. They hire a parking lot at a mall. They hire it for the morning for 2 hours or so, from 5 to 7. They park all the trucks in a circle, and they sell the fruit from there. This is one of the cold rooms in Kenya. I'm with one of the importers there. Very good cold room facilities in Kenya. And then you can see, I just wanted to show you the growth that we've had in Kenya so far, really outstanding, fantastic growth from 2013 up to 2017. 2018, we reached a little bit of a plateau because we had internal browning on the markets. And also the European and UK market was very demanding last year, so a lot of fruit went to those markets. And there, those people are in Uchumi market, Uchumi supermarket. And then in Kenya, because it's our biggest market, we have an agency in Kenya that's looking after doing marketing to the end consumer. A lot of the marketing that we're doing for the other markets is to reach the reseller. We've got the importer. The importer's on our side. He's licensed. He gets his fruit from South Africa. We want to make sure that the reseller is asking for the fruit, and then we want to look at the end consumer. So in Kenya, we're already looking at the end consumer. We have done in-store activations in Kenya. We've distributed promotional items. We have social media management there. We've got a Pink Lady Kenya Facebook page. We've got Instagram. We had an influencer brunch with a well-known chef, Chef Malunda, in Nairobi last year. And we invited 30 influencers, bloggers, foodie people to this event. They all came. It was really a wonderful event. And we did 2 collaborations with Kalui from Kalui's Kitchen. That's her there on the top. She's very well known in Nairobi. She's got 59,000 followers on Instagram, 50,000 followers on Facebook, and she's really doing really well. So it was great for us to have a collaboration with her. And just want to show you some, in the zucchini, we had a Mother's Day competition at the zucchini supermarket. In the middle is Beyond Fruits, also a small group of supermarkets that belongs to one of the importers. And right at the end is Naivas. It's a bigger supermarket chain in Kenya. This is a photograph of the influencer brunch that we had with Chef Malunda. Really was a great event for us. And we had amazing coverage from this event, really very nice. Somebody said there, Pink Lady apples making their day beautiful. We were in the newspaper, really a lot of coverage from that event. Some last thoughts. This year we're going ahead with all the marketing that we're planning. We're going to send out promotional items again. We're looking at Zambia as the next country to look at to see whether we can do licensing there of importers, because then there's a lot of volume going into Zambia and it's increasing every year. Kenya, we will go on with a full season of marketing activities. And then we're looking at Kenya, Senegal, and Nigeria to do some experiential marketing, some events marketing. If you look there to the right is a well-known brand in South Africa, Koo. It's canned vegetables and fruit. And this was a road show that they did, and that's something that we want to do. We want to engage with the resellers. We want to create lasting impressions with them on the market so that that it can lead to brand loyalty. Because if you have brand loyalty and you have somebody that prefer your brand, you have somebody that will be willing to pay a premium for that brand, and that is what we want. And then just lastly, quality. We've seen quality is so important in Africa. It's really, it's key for that people, and we need to make sure in South Africa that we give them that quality. So we're looking towards increasing and bettering our quality inspections in South Africa, because we want to make sure that they get a quality product. The brand, African consumers, they're price conscious, but they're very quality conscious, making them very brand conscious, because they know that if they see Pink Lady, they see a quality product. Inspections, as I've said, we're going to increase inspections in South Africa to make sure that they get a premium product. And then unique. I think unique sums up Africa quite well. It's unique because every market is different, it's not the same. And we've got to look at it in a unique way. Thank you.
Here are some of the read color mutations of infection.
Sorry, I didn't get the question. You want to know if there's crop spring going into Africa? Was that the question?
No, the question was really, are you growing all crops pink, or are you now using some of the read color mutations of crops pink that are available worldwide?
Sorry, I didn't get the question. You want to know if there's crop spring going into Africa? Was that the question?
No, the question was really, are you growing all Crips Pink, or are you now using some of the red colour mutations of Crips Pink that are available worldwide?
Well, in South Africa, we've still got half of our hectares is still Crips Pink, and the other half is Rosy Glow. So both is going into that market. But the African market, the colour specification globally for Pink Lady is 40% minimum block colour. So the African market is also at 40% minimum block colour. And that was actually a decision a couple of years ago. It was less than that, but it was a decision that the industry made in South Africa to say, but we should give them 40% block colour because that's a Pink Lady. We shouldn't give them less. And it is a battle with Crips Pink, obviously, because we battle with getting that colour. But we need to make it work because they know that it needs to be 40%.